story time on how I was pregnant, federally indicted, my 5-year-old son got shot, and I ended up in prison all in 1 year. Now, I know I was supposed to drop this story time yesterday, but life get to life, and sometimes when I get overwhelmed and I gotta reset. So, yesterday I had to reset. So, in order for y'all to really understand why everything played out the way it did, I'm gonna have to give y'all a little backstory, right? So, it all started when I was about 23 years old, right? I was the mother to just two of my kids at the time, my boys. And my oldest son's dad was in prison, and my youngest son dad was in prison, right? So it was just me.
Hello, I'm here to do a story time for y'all by requested. Okay, so we're finna get into this real quick about why I went to prison. I did 7 years. This was 20 years ago, y'all. I was 22 years old. And I was 26 when I went to prison. I went to prison in 2010. I caught my charges in 2008. And I was released from prison in 2016, followed by 5 years papers. Okay, so y'all, on today's episode of It Goes Down in the Prison, let me tell y'all. So I got put in restrictive housing today. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, restrictive housing is where the inmates go when they do something bad or they need like protective custody. They get separated in these small cells by themselves. It's only their bunk, the toilet, and the sink. So I'm in restrictive housing and I get to chatting it up with the inmates. Now, disclaimer, I treat them all like people on the street, strangers on the street. Whatever crime they did, they already incarcerated for it. You know what I mean? I'm not there to condemn them even more.
Attempted murder on my mom's husband's mistress. So let's talk about how I was 16 years old and charged with premeditated attempted murder. So first, I'm just going to break everything down, like the details, and then if y'all still want to hear my story, we can continue with that on the next clip. But basically, I was 16 and I went to jail, and then I was 17 when I went to prison. I had got 16 years, which is 200 months in DOC. And after like a year and a half of being in prison,
the stories on this channel are something else. Every single one is wilder than the last. If you enjoy what you see, a like and a subscribe go a long way in helping this channel grow. I appreciate every one of you. Now let's get into it.
Hey my loves, so I'm gonna give y'all a little story time, okay? And this probably be a part one. I'll probably try to make it all in this little minute, this little one video. But anyway, okay, story time about the time I went to prison. For those of you that know, then you know. But yes, I did 4 years in the penitentiary. And in those 4 years, I'm going to tell you the several units I've been to, okay? I've been to Hilltop Unit. I've been to Mountain View. I've been to Crane. No, was it Crane? I think it's Crane, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's called Crane. What's another one? What was the other one? Oh, and Hobby. I've been to Hobby. I think I'm missing one more, but I don't know how to say it. I think it starts with an R. I'm not sure. But it's not far from Mountain View. Anyway, so yeah, I've been to those 5 or 6 units. So, and why I went to prison. So I was a runaway at the age of 15. I ran away from my mother's house. Typical girl shit, Father went to prison. Whatever. I just wanted to be in the streets, okay? Looking for love, okay? We're going to put it like that. Let's be real. So, anyways, in the midst of that, I wasn't in contact with none of my parents, okay? None of my people, nobody. My father was in prison. Me and my mama wasn't clicking. Like, we had our ups and downs. Me and my grandma, ups and downs. Yeah, anyway, long story short. So, I met this dude online on Twitter. So, I met this dude, whatever, lied about my age. Let me start there. I lied about my age. Told the dude I was, 18 or 17. I probably even told him I was 19. I don't know, because baby, if I show y'all how I looked at that age, at 15, mind you, I'm 15, you would have believed me. Okay, y'all know how this generation is. But anyway, so yeah, so I met this dude online. I think he was 20. Oh, he was over 22. Let's keep it real. He was over 22. Mind you, I'm only 15. But he thinks that I'm between 17 and 19. I can't remember what age I told him. I'm 25 now. So anyway, so yeah, I met this dude, ran off with this dude. Didn't know shit about what I was doing. Barely knew how to take care of myself, okay? Yeah, so met up with him. My mom filed to run away. The laws tapped into my computer, like that ass tapped into my computer. End up knowing where I was, finding the dude information. My mom ended up calling the dude, letting the dude know, hey, you with my 15-year-old runaway daughter. So he ended up dropping me at a gas station because she threatened that the laws was going to be at his door. So he ended up dropping me at a gas station, and I ended up getting on this POF app. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but I think it's Plenty of Fish. I don't know if that's still an ongoing thing, but at that time, that's what it was called, POF. So I ended up getting on that at the gas station like this quick, okay? I had pictures already on my phone, so I'm posting pictures. Ended up talking to this guy like within 30 minutes. Like, I was a risk taker. Like, honey, I would never do that now, though. God, like, Lord knows. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, so ended up talking to this guy. Ended up telling this guy I was at the gas station. Yeah, my friends ditched me with the woo. I came up with this story. This is some real shit. Like, swear to God, no lie. Like, right hand to the man. This is God honest truth. So the guy pulled up on me, whatever. Mind you, this guy, he thinks that I'm in between the age 17 and 19 as well. So I met up with him. I'm still a runaway. Never went back home, even though my mom found out where I was and the laws was looking for me. So met up with him, doing my little 1-2-1-2. I didn't like him. I remember I didn't like him, and I don't know what the fuck happened. We got pulled over, I think. We got pulled over. They ended up running my name. Found out I was running away. Took me to juvenile. My grandma came, got me. I was there, I kid you not, no longer than 24 hours at my grandparents' house. Oh my goodness, why was I like this? So I was there no longer than 24 hours and met this guy, another guy, and told him, yeah, I think I told him I was 18. I remember this. I think I told him I was 18, okay? And he's from Montgomery. He was from Montgomery County. Met up with him, ran away from my grandma's house. So, mind you, she had to file another runaway. She had to file me as a runaway, so I'm a runaway again. So, I met up with him. He took me all the way from Peralta, Texas. I was coming from Peralta, Texas at the time, because that's where my grandparents were staying. So, because my mama didn't want shit to do with me. Like, it was a repeated cycle with me. So, she was like, I wash my hands, take her. So, yeah, my grandma took control of it, whatever. So, this guy came pick me up. We drove all the way to Montgomery County. Went to Montgomery County. I was with this guy, with the woo. Mind you, at the time, I skipped a little detail. At the time, I was the only one with a Camaro. Because I was talking to this other guy at the time. R.I.P. to him. He was ran over. But his name was Christopher Matthews. Somebody ran him over in Beaumont, Texas. But I was talking to this man, and he held me down my entire time in prison. He actually passed away when I came home. But anyway, so I was talking to him. He got me a car, so I actually had my own car. But I didn't have my car out here. He had bought me my car. It was in Houston, because that's where he was. Well, he was in Beaumont, but wherever he was working at, doing little landscaping jobs, concrete jobs, that's where he was. So he had me a car out there. So bam, I was like, perfect. Doing Montgomery, perfect. I can go get my car. I meet up with this guy. Oh, this is all tea for me. I'm barely turning 16 now. I'm 16 now. It's my birthday, if I'm not mistaken. It's after my birthday, like a couple weeks after my birthday. So I'm 16 now. So yeah, told him I was 18. So he ended up telling me, hey, you want to make some money? I'm like, hell yeah. But I'm 16 in the streets, don't have a job, don't know what to do. I didn't even start dancing yet. Yeah, that's another story. Yeah, we'll talk about that in another video. But anyway, so I'm like, yeah. So I was like, what I gotta do? He was like, you just gotta be a bait. I'm like, be a bait? What I gotta be a bait and do? He was like, I just need you to put something sexy on, walk down the street, and the Mexicans, just get the Mexicans' attention and go in the house and see, what they got going on in there. Like, because they be having weed, coke, money, like they was some big drug dealers, and this is in Montgomery. So I'm like, bet, okay, cool, I could do that. So I walk by, sure enough, they whistling, Mama Sita, come have a beer. If I'm not mistaken, it was one of them fucking nasty ass Coronas, whatever the fuck them shits is in a green bottle. Yeah. So I'm acting like I'm sipping that, mind you, I'm on my phone, but I'm taking pictures on the low, but I'm acting like I'm on my phone drinking beer, but I'm taking pictures of the dude. So when the dude like, hey, you want to come in? I'm like, yeah, come on. I'm like, yeah, let's go. So we go in. Bitch, it's nothing but coke. Hella fucking pounds of coke. Money in the back. You can hear the niggas in the back talking. Close the door. It's like 6 niggas. Close the door. It's hella weed every day. Hella weed everywhere. It's 20s, like big stacks of 20s, like 30,000, 40,000. All on the table. So I'm sitting there, bitch. And mind you, now they watching me because I got my phone out. So I'm hurry up and taking pictures and putting my phone up. So, the nigga texting, like, he steady texting, like, hey, you good? Because I went in the house. That wasn't part of the plan. So I'm like, I had to take my phone out, and I'm texting, yeah, I'm good. A nigga asked me, the Mexican, like, hey, what you doing over there? Like, what you doing over there? You good? I'm like, yeah, shit, I'm good. I'm talking to my folks. I'm good. So, fast forward all that, I ended up leaving, ended up getting up out of there, telling them what's going on. Bam. Ended up setting it up, doing the same thing like that, meeting the Mexicans. They ended up letting me in. It was only 3 of them at the time, and mind you, it's like 4 or 5 of my partners, the nigga that I was fucking with. So bam, I text him, hey, it's a green light. Bam, they all go in, they beat one nigga with the iron steel bat, beat him. They thought he was dead. So long story short, they got away. I didn't, because I was the only one with that Camaro car. Remember, I told you I had a white Camaro. It was cocaine white. I was the only one with that car. Damn. Long story short, I got pulled over, had to put my hands up. I was the only one in the car. They got away. They took me. They like, hey, tell me who did this. We thought the nigga was dead. Who they hit with the iron steel, with the bat. He wasn't dead. He got up. He was just unconscious. He went to the neighbors. But anyway, if y'all want more. Okay, so y'all wanted a part 2. So here it is. So we're on part 2 anyways. They pulled me over. Mind you, they was already out. Like, they had already got away because they got away through the back door. So mind you, they put me over, telling me, raise my window down, put my left hand up the door, take 10 steps back, put my hand up above my head. So keep in mind that when the officer came and arrested me, he yanked my shoulder, my right arm, dislocated it. In the midst of that, I turned around, punched him. So that's an assault. I broke his nose at that. So that was an assault. Okay, so bam, they waited till the lady come to search me down. They took me to county. They like, we'll let you go. They talking to me. They telling me if I cooperate, they'll let me go because I'm 16. I can go back home to my mother. Right now I'm just under a runaway, and they know that they probably forced to do what I did, woo. I'm like, I'm not having that. I'm not going back home because I done already got a taste of the streets. So I'm like, yeah, no, that's dead. I'm not telling y'all nothing. And I'm thinking that the nigga gonna have my back, So anyway, push forward. All right, bam. So I go to jail. I go to jail. I go to court. I go to court. When I go to jail, I go to TYC. When I go to TYC, I go to court. When I go to court, they're like, I didn't have no paid lawyer or nothing. I had an appointed lawyer. So they're like, yeah, when you go to court, nobody was there. No family member or nothing. I was fucking with a CO that I met at TYC. So he went to court. They found out about it, so they fired him. So he ended up going to court with me because, they didn't already fired him. They didn't found out about it. So bam, so he go to court with me, and they tell me that I got 8 years. Well, that's the offer, 8 years. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Boo-hoo crying, I'm not doing that. So then, I go back to TYC a year later. It's almost a year, probably like 8-9 months. I come back, I go to court. The dude he got me a pay lawyer. So the lawyer go in and she like, no, was it a he? No, it was a she. I'm lying. The lawyer like, well, if I go back in there, they gonna raise it up. Instead of, they gonna raise it up because they didn't drop it down when she came in there. They didn't drop it to 4 years. So I'm like, I can't do that. So they went from 8 to 4. I'm like, I can't do that for my first offense. Like, yeah, no, that's dead. So then they was like, well, if I go back in there, then the DA is going to raise it up and woo. So they called my mom on the little black phone or whatever. They called my mom. My mama wasn't there. But they called her and they tell her what's going on. And she like, can I talk to my daughter? But she was on speakerphone. So I'm like, yeah, I'm listening. And she was like, girl, you better do that 3 years. That's just 3 years. And you don't have to do the full 3 years. You could do that shit on the headstand and woo. Your daddy doing 20. I'm like, yeah, no, can't do it. So mind you, the lawyer, like, if I go back in there, they're going to raise it up. You know, they could double it. So I'm like, oh no. But what they got me for, say all that, my original charge was the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated robbery, and then it was aggravated assault on the officer. They dropped all of that just because I did an assault on an officer. Their main focus for me was that, like, they knew I didn't have nothing to do with the boy getting beat, the robbing. They knew, like, I was there to be set up. They just wanted me to say it, and they wanted me to snitch on the niggas, but I never did that. So now I get sentenced, 4 years for assault on an officer. They dropped the ag and all that. So they gave me that. So, bam, I go back to TYC, then I got on chain to go to Hilltop. Mind you, I go to Hilltop. I'm at Hilltop for 2 months. I was at Hilltop for 2 months. I seen parole my first 2 months. And this old lady, I'll never forget, this old lady found out. She found out I was finna make parole. So she was going around telling people that, and how you find out, if you know, if you've been in jail, you don't supposed to tell people you make parole, but they will look you up. I'm fresh meat. I'm pretty as hell. Everybody will know who I am, what I'm in there for. I'm not talking to nobody. So that old lady found out that I made parole because I got a lay-in that a parole visit. So I guess she called the people and found out. Well, she started threatening me like she was going to slice my face, cut my face. So what I did was put a lock in a sock, beat that old woman up. Well, I busted her right eardrum. They G4'd me, moved me from Hilltop to Mountain View. I was G4'd. I started acting a ass. Mind you, this whole time, did not hear from that dude. Didn't get a letter. Don't know if that man dead or alive. Don't know if his partner's dead or alive. Ain't heard from his mom. Ain't heard from nobody. Like, I'm honest to say I probably should have snitched on the nigga. Like, yeah. But I didn't. But anyway, so, yeah, so I go G4. While I'm doing all that, I started dashing the officers, flooding the rain, spitting at people. Like, I'm through a mesh gate. And I had a roommate at the time. Roommate ain't doing me shit, though. But I'm trying to get the fuck away from... I'm just losing my mind. I'm already a year in the system. So then, bam. They G4 me till they G5 me from acting... They turned my water off for 3 days for doing all that. With my water flooding the rain, dashing the officer, just doing the most. They didn't feed me for a day, cut my water off for 3 days, literally cut just my water off. So didn't let me go shower for 3 days or nothing. So then bam, they G5 me, put me in a single man cell. I was in cell 24 by myself, top bunk, all the way in the back. And I did my last 3 years G5. And I did that. I switched units I went from Hilltop to Mountain View, from Mountain View to Crane, from Crane. It's another one. I want to say it's River. It started with an R, I think. I went from there, and then from there, they sent me back to Mountain View. Because Mountain View was a death row sentence, and that was the only sentence also that holded G5 people. Well, they're in Hobby. But because the officer that I dashed G5 was there, because I was dashing 2 when I was G5. So the officer that I dashed G5, they was still at that unit, so they had to UT me to Hobby. I was at Hobby unit, and I pulled chain from Hobby unit. And that's how they went. But I did my full 4 years, like, yeah, full 4 years. Didn't get on no papers or nothing, like. But yeah, that's the story of how I went to jail. And to sum it up, yeah, I didn't snitch on him. No, I never heard from him, never got a visit. And you know what? I don't feel bad about it because it made me. I can honestly say it made me, because I was doing a lot of hot girl shit and I needed to slow down. So, but if y'all want more stories, comment and like. I got a lot of stories, so I can definitely give y'all story times.
Hello, I'm here to do a story time for y'all by requested. Okay, so we're finna get into this real quick about why I went to prison. I did 7 years. This was 20 years ago, y'all. I was 22 years old. And I was 26 when I went to prison. I went to prison in 2010. I caught my charges in 2008. And I was released from prison in 2016, followed by 5 years papers after doing the 7 years. Right here we have the 7 charges. I have a criminal mischief and I have aggravated stalking without intent to kill. Those 2 charges were separate from the other 4. They let me out on bond and brought me back and booked me for another assault, 2 child abuses, the discharging of a firearm from a vehicle, and the aggravated firearm. This is my paperwork when I was released off of probation when I completed my 5 years of papers. So this year makes 9 years that I have been free. If you know anything, 9 is my life path number. So I'm excited about this year. This year has been an awesome year for me. So let's get to it. I met a guy. I did not know he had a baby mama. It began to be baby mama drama once we found out about each other. I didn't find out about her till 6 months after the fact of being with him. She had already knew about me. So for 2 years, it was consistent and ongoing, back and forth, unnecessary drama. Now, mind y'all, we were young. We were wet behind the ears, tender, didn't know no better. And I can only speak for me. I was unhealed, trying to find myself at that age. So it's a lot of things that I dealt with and that I put up with that I would never put up with today. But before I get into this story, I would like to just say that it's all about accountability. Anything that happens in your life is totally for you. It's never for the other person. And I learned my lesson through what I had to go through. Like, everything that you go through is for you. It's never for the other person. And we got to stop sitting back pointing fingers at the other person and stand back and take accountability in whatever it is. And I have to take accountability for the things that I allowed a man to do, because at the end of the day, people only going to do what you allow them to do. But at the age of 22, I was damaged. You know what I'm saying? So I was dealing with my trauma. So I didn't know how to approach the situation. And instead, it ended up causing me 7 years of my life. So to break it down, his baby mama, it was a lot of throwing rocks and hiding your hands, pretty much. And it was back and forth on both ends, but more so on the opposite person ends. Because remind you, I came in. Once I came in the picture, he kind of flipped the script completely. He was very disrespectful. He pretty much just made it known that he wanted to be with me, because it got to the point where he was pulling up everywhere I was at, fighting people, just causing ruckus in my life, running off my boyfriends, I don't know how he find me, but it don't matter where I'm at. He was literally just popping up everywhere. So I was going through all this to find out that he had a girlfriend. So it's just like, huh? But I had just got out of a relationship, so I was outside. I was young. I was a party girl. I was outside. I was hanging out. So even though I was only serious with him, I was still talking to other guys. So for all this stuff to continue to go on, that's what kind of threw me for a loop. Fourth, immature, a lot of ego, the woman trying to prove a point, like the man like her better or whatever the case may be. For me, I just feel that God had a better plan and a purpose in my life, and I had to see those things. And throughout that, since I've been home, I have an associate's degree and a bachelor's degree in business administration. 4 credits from my master's degree in human services. I had married, I had divorced, I got land. I just brought a house. I brought a house. Like, I've accomplished so much. My kids are both married at 19 years old. They're in their careers. One's a preacher, one's in the army. Um,
14 kids.
And I'm a grandmother. So, like, life had a way of throwing curveballs. And I always tell people, you have to be careful what you say and what you do. Because one thing that is, karma is real. And it will come back around. And the person that had to suffer always be the winning person in the end. So this ain't I'm not mad at nobody. I don't hate nobody. But I'm here to give y'all the story. So, I done ran off the road almost twice. One time, his brother and my cousin was in the car with me. One time I was in the car by myself. I done been followed. Car scratched up. His clothes cut up, bleached up. Thrown all over my car. She came to my house. Knocked on my door. I opened the door. She asked for him. I tell him she at the door. I come back in, I look out the window, she's out there crying because he's telling her that he want to be with me. So this is the situation. I'm trying to give y'all a visual of the perspective places that everybody played in as time is passing by. So now we at a point where we got kids, both of us. She got 3, I got my 1. Her last one and my only one is the same age. We know about this man. We know what he's doing. It's no sense of sitting here playing the blame game. And I just see that a lot of women like to say it's the man or it's this, it's that. No, it's you, because you allowed this man to come in your life. You allow him to lie to you. You allow him to drag you. And then you want to place the blame. But where do we have to take accountability? We have to stop and we have to take accountability. And that's where I feel like this journey has taken me to a place where now anything that happened to me, I look directly at me. I done been in some weird situations. We can have story time for years. But I always go back to where I went wrong. What did I do wrong? How can I change myself? And that's what this is all about. And so I just thank God for just allowing me to see who he is in me. You get what I'm saying? I'm able to walk in my powers now. Back then I didn't know who I was. So I was kind of just shifting along this matrix until I figured it out. And now that I realized, this all worked out for my good. But, we come across these situations all the time with women and men and vice versa. And you find out the other woman find out that he been cheating and now he cheating with her and now she don't know nothing about you. And a lot of women like to go and immediately blame game and be mad at the woman. And I love this song. What it is? I got this mad again. Never buy no money, but it's always like this bitch. She furious. Be furious. You be furious at the woman. And she don't know. She done been lied to just like you. But all this stuff was occurring back and forth. Literally, we done had to fight. And, I never wanted to fight this girl because at the time back then, y'all, I was a thick girl. I've always been shapely, small waist, big butt. That's just always been my shape tone. And she was skinny bones. It was no flex to fight this girl. So I never wanted to go there with her. But it was so much of her mouth, that kept always at me, and I allowed all that stuff to get the best of me, and I end up doing some things that I might have shouldn't have done. And I also feel like my state, I'm from Florida, and I feel like they failed me because before we get up to me catching the charges and me shooting the gun, and it's now it's called warning shot. Now you can do that. But back then in 2008 they had just passed the law. So that's why I feel like they failed me. And also, I had tried to get an injunction on her in 2007. Mind you, my charges was in 2008. They denied it. I'm going to upload that. In '08, right before all this stuff happened, I went to go try to get an injunction on her mom. And that was because her mom was the type of person, she was always in a drama. Nothing happened. And I'm going to upload them. And so that's why I feel like I was left out here to defend myself. My parents was more on the end, would try to diffuse the situation. They had conversations with him. You know, they would try to defuse the situation. And back then, I only hung out with cousins and family members. And that was when I wasn't by myself, because the 9 times out of 10, I would be by myself if I wasn't with them. Hope this kind of summed up everything. And I will post part 2. Y'all let me know what else y'all want to know about it. As I stated before, it pretty much was a bunch of baby mama drama. Woman finds out. Woman's mad. Woman takes it out on the other woman. Woman creates drama. Woman hides her hand. When the other woman starts to attack back and show the other side, you want to call the police. And see, I never called the police or none of that stuff, because as I said before, I never found her as a threat. And that's what I went wrong, because I should have acted scary as all out those and went down there every day until they gave me an injunction. But that's the past. It didn't hurt me. It didn't fail me. And I'm a success story. And I don't want nobody to feel bad. I thank God for everything. Y'all stay tuned for part 2. Alright, I'm ready to get into part 2. Y'all have not been sleeping a lot. I'm trying to get y'all part 2. Part 2, this is how I went to prison at the age of 26. I had 38 years, ran concurrent, ended up doing the highest bid of the charges. Was 8 years. Off of 8, I had to do 7. We do 85% in the state of Florida. Okay. So now we on how I met him. Simple day, regular day. Dropped my child off to school, and I stopped by this store called Diamond D. I pulled in. I was coming in the store. He was coming out the store. So he stopped me, and he's asked me, did I remember him? So I'm like, no, I don't remember you. And he was like, you don't remember me a few months back? You met me at such and such house? And I was like, oh, yeah. So he brought back my memory. I had met him like 8 months prior to this time, after I was leaving church one day, me and my cousin T. And we pulled up after church to the corner house, which my homeboy grew up there. He stopped me, and the baby daddy was standing there. That's what we're gonna call him. And he was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, good. But we chopping it up with my homeboy. So he eventually asked me who baby this is in the car. And I was like, that's my baby. He was like, he's so cute. And I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, everybody say that. He a cute little baby. He was like, let me hold him. So I let him hold him. If I would have known what I know now, I would never let people just hold my baby. But I used to get that all the time about my son when he was little. He was the cutest thing. So I let him hold him. Like literally 5 or 6 minutes after that, not even, my son's grandmother pulled up with her daughter in the car, and she was like, who is this young man holding my grandson? So I was like, I don't really know him. I said, I don't know him. I know him. And she was like, oh, okay. So she looked at him and she said, why is you holding my grandson? And he was like, he just a cute baby, but I'm going to give him back to his mama. I don't want no problems. And she was like, oh, you better give him back for his daddy come out that church. So it brought back my memory. So I was like, yeah, I remember you. Where you been? And he was like, I've been locked up. So I was like, oh, okay. He was like, where you going? I said, I'm going to go get my hair done because me and my son is taking pictures tomorrow. And tomorrow is his first year pictures with me and him. So he was like, okay. He was like, how much it costs? So I told him how much it cost, and he gave me the money. And after he gave me the money, we chopped it up a little bit, and we exchanged numbers. And we started talking. So now time is passing by. We talking every day. We hanging out. I work nights, overnight, so we would hang out all day. I go to work. And now months is rolling by. He's being introduced to my family, cousins, people that I'm hanging around. And then I end up telling my parents, like, I'm talking to this man. They was like, what's his name? So I tell them the name. And then I find out that my dad used to talk to his mama. So now it's like he's more acceptable around the family. He knows my aunts. He's coming around to every house that I'm pulling up to. We chatting it up. Like, it's cool. But at the same time, I had, like I said in the previous video, I had just got out of a relationship. So I was really outside. And I was talking to all kind of people. All kind. Because I was dating. I was not with someone. So as me and him still getting to know each other throughout these first 6 months, I'm still talking to people. And he know about it. You know, he to the point where now towards probably like the 4th or 5th month, he's showing his ass. So he pulling up, as I said, and he's doing stuff. Okay, bam. So 6 months roll by. We connected now. We tangled into this thing. You know, all I saw was what he showed me. So one day I'm leaving this other store. I'm actually coming to the store. And this is 6 months after. And I pull up. And my cousin is coming out the store. A family member. That's what I'm going to call it. A family member. And she stopped me. And she say, "Cuz, what's up?" And I say, "What's up?" She say, "Nothing." She say, "I was getting my hair done by my friend the other day. And she told me that you be talking to her baby daddy." So I was like, "Who's her baby daddy?" So she was like, "The baby daddy." She said his name. So I was like, "He got a baby mama." And I was like, okay, so now I'm listening. So she like, "Yeah, that's my friend. She do my hair." And she was just basically talking about it while she was doing my hair. And she said, "Your car, that she know he talked to you or whatever, but she don't know your face." So when she said the car, I put 2 and 2 together and said, "That's my cousin." So when I saw you, I said something to you. Now let's pause on this. And we're going to pick up back on this cousin once I get sentenced. Now for me, looking back, I feel like if you the cousin, the family member of me, and you're the friend of her, you could have diffused the situation right then and there. You knew I didn't know nothing about this man having no girlfriend. And obviously she knew who I was, but didn't have a face. It could have been deaded right there, but it wasn't. I guess it was some friend over family stuff. I don't really know. But anywho, let's get back to the story. So now after me and her finished chopping it up, now I'm like, what the hell? So I call him immediately. He denies it. Literally, like any other person would. You caught now. But he denies, "I ain't got no motherfucking girlfriend." And he used to be just his mouth. "I ain't got no girlfriend." He never really claimed her. So he just be like, "I ain't got no girlfriend." And I'm just like, this girl ain't just pulled over and told me this for nothing. So now I'm looking at him sideways. And now it's like, even if I thought about making you my main man and stop talking to all these guys, you just blowed it. I never look at you the same. And I might have still dealt with you, but I never, ever, ever, ever looked at you the same. And that's why things kind of played out with me and him the way that it did. So now I'm just sitting back waiting for some type of something to come out, because in my head she know about me, so something finna be seen. So I'm letting him lie, but at the same time I'm talking to him like, I really don't believe you. And if you doing anything, it's gonna come to the light. So this particular night, I'm riding. This is the first time I even noticed anything. I'm riding down 10th Street. And I see a car trailing me. So I'm just like, looking in my rearview mirrors, like, every turn I take. We get into some light going up, getting close to Kathleen Hatt's store. And I could visually see the car. So now I'm just laughing, and I turn on my lights and I turn, because I'm like, now she following me. Gotta be, because this gotta be the car, because I remember the car. So nothing don't happen. I guess she get on and go her way to her house. So probably like a week or two passed or so, and I see her at this same store that I met him at, Diamond D. I pull in, I'm sitting in the car. And I guess I went in the store and came out and was still sitting in the car doing something. I want to say I went and got a stamp. And I was putting a stamp on the mail. And I happened to look up, and she parked on the right of me, pulled in the store, got out her car. And all I could see her doing was walking in the store and rolling her eyes and doing like this. And mumbling under her breath, and she went in the store. So I'm just sitting there because, y'all, I used to be the type of person where I used to speak my mind, and then I got into religion, and religion will teach you to turn the other cheek and let people just do stuff, and you be humble. And the humbler you are, the more trouble you can get because you're not saying nothing. So I sat back and I didn't say nothing. She came out the store and she said he ain't going nowhere. So I just laughed. Because now in my mind, it could have been avoided, but the way that you carried on, instead of pulling me to the side and being a woman about the situation, now it's like my ego popped up. Like, oh, he ain't going nowhere. Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to talk to him, and I'm going to talk to other niggas, and I'm going to show you. Do I feel like that was wrong mindset? Yes, it wasn't even worth it. But I don't regret my life. I don't regret nothing that happened. So now we got a face. We got cars with it. We know about each other now, okay? But at this point, we still ain't got him saying it. Like, we ain't got the proof from him, but we got the proof. Crazy, young, dumb, full of gum, okay? I should have left. And so now, this is where all the drama started. Now, we at a place where, like I said previously, it's getting bad. You know, he trying to prove a point to her. I'm assuming he trying to prove a point to me. So situations are occurring and his hand is getting showed. Now me and her running into each other. His face is being made. Block calls being made. All this stuff. Now we finna get into the drama. Y'all stay tuned for part 3. And well, the people want the meat. They say they don't want all this other stuff. So I'm going to give y'all, I'm going to have to go backwards, but I'm going to give y'all the day that I got arrested. And I'm going to let y'all walk with me through this. It just so happened when I did this video, I was in Florida, where I'm from, in Lakeland. I don't live there anymore. So I live in Alabama. So at this current moment, y'all, I'm on my way to make a withdrawal from the bank. So I'm up early. And I just so happen to gotta go down this road. And I just feel like I'm gonna give y'all, it'll be better if I give y'all a visual of everything that happened. This is the day that I got arrested, okay? What she said, we want to know what actually happened. I'm gonna give y'all the day that I got arrested. Let's get into it. Y'all better like, share, and click now, because it's day. Okay, so this particular day, I'm going over the bridge in Lakeland, Florida, over Memorial, going over the bridge. I'm gonna give y'all a visual, show y'all how this look. This would be me going over the bridge with, I had my 2 kids in the car with me, and I had my homegirl in the car with me. And we were going to my cousin's house, who actually lived over this bridge on 2nd Street. I had a black Impala with tinted windows with a paper tag, so my car was pretty much, you know, she knew my car. So this is me coming here. This would be me. I turn my blinkers on and I get ready to turn on Jewel, right? Back then, this used to be a store. It's a store now, but it was a store back then. Her car was sitting over there, but she was coming out the store. She was coming out the store and she was getting in her car. So she saw me riding down this road. So now I'm riding down the road and I'm going to show y'all where my aunt stayed, where I was actually going. And I had somebody in the car with me. So after this video and I post part 2, we're going to do a live. And I'm going to actually have the person to confirm everything. Okay? Okay, they didn't have this right here. It was just a straight road. So basically, I'm pulling in. My aunt, my dad's sister, she lived right here. By the time I can get right here, give my cousin whatever it is I'm giving her, I back out. Now I'm right here and she's coming down the road. So she pulls on the side of me right here. Say this is the side of me. And she pulls right here. She's in her truck. I guess she had her kids. I didn't know she had tinted windows. I just know I had mine. So let's set the record straight. The 2 child abuse charges that I have is because they said I discharged a firearm from a vehicle because I had my kids in the car. It was never about her kids. If it was her kids, then I would have had 5 child abuse charges because she had 5 kids. And remember, I only had 2. which to me was bogus charges, because at the end of the day, how y'all never take my kids out the house? I keep custody of my kids. When I go to prison, I give my mom temporary custody of my kids. When I come home, I get my kids back. So they sent me to prison for child abuse charges on my kids. They actually brought them to my house and did a walkthrough. We'll get to that. And I never lost my kids. So that's why those 2 charges to me was bogus as hell. So she pulled on the side of me. She say, bitch, you going to jail. So I said, girl, what the fuck you talking about? She talking about, you flat my motherfucking tires. You came out to my house and egged my car, bitch. I done called the police. They coming to get your ass. So now let me get to this part about the tire and the car being egged. Not denying it. It was done. But it was 5 people there. And I never slashed her tires. Somebody else slashed her tires. I just took the charge because the person was scared to come forth. And I just took the charge. My family reached out to this person, and we'll get into that. Her car was egged, but she had came to my house earlier that day. But we'll get into that. At this point, y'all, we 3 years in, and I'm with a whole nother man. With a whole nother dude. The baby daddy's in jail. He went to jail, and I moved on with my life. I was the last one to be talking to him before he went to jail this last time. So, I'm with a whole nother man. So, when she say that, I say, oh, now you want to play police games. My gun was right here in my coastal. My homegirl was right there, and my kids was in the back. As me and her exchange words, I pull out the gun, and I say, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to keep rapping with y'all. I'm protected. I'm straight. And her eyes got real big, and she drove off. She went back down Jewel. Okay, bam. So me and the homegirl laughing like, oh, now she know I'm not playing. Now she know I'm serious, right? So bam, me and the homegirl, we get to driving. We just going like, I know I done scared, and I see her eyes looking, so I don't know what she gonna do. You get what I'm saying? She already talking about the police. So I tell my homegirl, I'm finna go by my grandma's house real quick. So bam, me and my homegirl, we can proceed with where we're going. And I'm going to come back and show y'all. Now, mind you, I said this was 20 years ago. But when something like this happens to a person, and you just don't forget certain stuff, you know. And as I said before, God has turned all this around for my good, baby. I can't do nothing but smile on this journey. But I'm on my way to take y'all to the next situation where the gun was actually shot in the air. And it was called a warning shot. Never intent to kill, never intent to hurt nobody. Just to warn you and let you know that I ain't finna play with you. It's too many of y'all, and it's only one of me. Besides family members, I don't have any siblings. So I'm finna get y'all to the next location, and we'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So now we get here. Me and my homegirl, we traveling. We was gonna go by my grandma's house real quick, because I really wasn't thinking nothing of it. Like, it's been going on this long. I ain't thinking that. We turn on 6th Street, right here by the park. 6th Street in Webster. We turn. And we come down 6th Street. Hold on. This is me. This will be me traveling with my friend and my kids. We coming down. We playing the music. You know. Ain't thinking shit of it. I guess she had a sister that stayed at this end corner right here. These used to be projects. Okay, and I think her sister stayed like right up in here. So as I'm traveling down, I guess they see my car as I'm going down, and I hear her mom start yelling in the middle of the road. So I kind of hear it, and I like pause my car like this. So now I pause the car, and I'm like, you hear that? She like, yeah, look behind you. So I look behind me just like this. Her mama standing in the middle of the road. Come back, bitch. We finna beat your motherfucking asshole. Tired of you fucking with my daughter, bitch. We finna beat your ass. So I say, and like I said to your daughter, I'm not finna fight all y'all. I'ma shoot one of y'all hoes. This was my exact words, y'all. So I took the gun. I hold it out the air, just like this. And I popped. Warning shot. That was my warning shot. Bam. I didn't know why she was actually originally calling me back, because her daughter was on the phone with the police. So she ran over here to call the cops. That was why she came over here, because now, mind you, this person didn't even live in Lakeland. So I wasn't even expecting to see them. I didn't have a gun because I was thinking I was going to see them. I just had it. So, bam. Now I'm like, she on the phone with the police. I'm panicking now. So I'm like, damn, I don't even go to my grandma's house, because now we already know how Polk County police is, bitch. They're coming to get you. She just told me that there was that the police was coming because of the other incident that happened with her tires being flat when she pulled up on me. That was her purpose of pulling up on me. So I have enough time to go back home. I go home. I put my gun up. And then I say, I don't want them coming to my house, searching my house. So I'm going to just go on to my cousin Mika's house back over there on 2nd Street in Jewel. Kid you not, y'all. Soon as I pull in the driveway of Jewel, the house where my auntie stayed, police flooded me. They say, we just got a call about a discharging of a firearm. The police looked at me, he say, and I can't believe who it's about. He been running from us forever. And I was like, damn, like, now I'm like, I don't know what's finna happen. You get what I'm saying? But in my heart and in my mind, y'all, I'm going to give y'all the God honest truth. I didn't feel like I did nothing wrong. I feel like it was so much going on. I couldn't take it no more. And it was occurring while I was in a relationship with the guy that I ended up marrying. Mind you, the baby daddy's still locked up. So the only person now that I'm really hanging around is my dude at the time. And he even starts seeing it. We pulling up places. They don't know he in the car. Her family members jumping out the car at the BP talking about what they gonna do. He got in the car when he came out the store. He say, your ass better go get a motherfucking injunction. I know you ain't scared, but bitches don't play fair out here. So that's what originally made me go and get the injunction, because he had been saying that. But I had already tried. You get what I'm saying? So it was nothing else to try for. Y'all stay tuned to part 4. We're going to get into it.
Let's keep it 100. Loyalty almost took that girl under. Imagine being 16 years old, taking a 4-year bid for a man, and doing every single day of that time. And what did he do? Not a thing. No letters, no visits, no how you doing, nothing. She told us herself, she don't even know if that man is dead or in the wind. She sat there with her mouth closed, thinking he was going to hold her down the way she held him down. And he just ghosted. That's a cold lesson to learn at 16. Not everybody you're willing to go to war for is willing to go to war for you. She had to find that out the hardest way possible. If we're being real, the writing was on the wall from the jump. At 15, she was already out here running away, hopping from man to man, lying about her age, and getting into cars with complete strangers she met on Twitter or Plenty of Fish. She said it best. She was just looking for love. Her daddy was locked up, things with her mama were messy, and even though her grandma was trying, she just kept hitting the door. She was trying to fill a hole in her heart with these older dudes who didn't give a damn about her. They were using her to get what they wanted, and she was using them just to escape her reality. Take that dude in Montgomery. He saw a little girl he thought was 18 and immediately put her in the line of fire. Just be the bait, sis. Walk by, look cute, scope out the spot. He literally used her as a lure. And who got caught? She did. Why? Because she was the only one stuck driving that white Camaro while everyone else slipped out the back. To them, she was disposable. But she couldn't see it because she was a child out here trying to play a grown woman's game. When she got to TYC and that older woman threatened to slice her face, she didn't have no conflict resolution skills. She went straight to violence. lock in a sock, busted the woman's eardrum. From there, it was just a spiral. Dashing officers, flooding the cell, spitting through the gate, getting her water cut off for 3 days. She went from G4 to G5 solitary real quick. She was acting out because she was alone. No family at court, no letters, no nothing. The only person who even showed up was a CO she was messing with, and he ended up losing his job over it. She was 17 years old, completely isolated in a cage. The part that really gets me, she isn't even bitter. She said, "I don't feel bad about it because it made me." And I hear that, but it's heartbreaking. No 15-year-old should have to get made by a prison cell. She needed a hand to hold and someone to protect her, but instead, she got the streets and a bunk. It wasn't just one bad choice. It was a whole chain. Running away leads to man number one. Getting dropped at a gas station leads to plenty of fish. That leads to the next dude, then juvenile, then running again, then Montgomery, then being the bait, then 4 years. That's how the devil works. You don't usually just fall off a cliff. You walk down a slope, and by the time you look up, you're too far gone to climb back out. People see assault on an officer and aggravated robbery, and they judge. But they miss the fact that she was a child. She punched a cop because he yanked her arm out of the socket while arresting her. Context matters. And look, ignoring red flags don't make them disappear. 6 months in, she finds out this man got a whole girlfriend. Instead of leaving, she stayed. She owns that, though. She ain't pretending she was right. But that was the fork in the road. You get that gut feeling, you get the proof, and then you talk yourself into staying because you've already invested time. But 6 months of investment ain't worth 7 years in a cell. She talked about being unhealed at 22, and that word is heavy. She wasn't just reckless. She was moving with unprocessed trauma. When you're broken, you make broken decisions. You attract chaos because chaos feels like home. And that cousin? Knowing both sides and not saying a word to squash the beef, that's some real-life snake behavior. Sometimes the people around you see the car crash coming and they just grab some popcorn instead of hitting the brakes. She isn't blaming them, but she's pointing out the truth. There were so many moments where this could have been stopped, but everyone just watched it spiral.
Okay, so y'all, on today's episode of It Goes Down in the Prison, let me tell y'all. So I got put in restrictive housing today. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, restrictive housing is where the inmates go when they do something bad or they need like protective custody. They get separated in these small cells by themselves. It's only their bunk, the toilet, and the sink. So I'm in restrictive housing and I get to chatting it up with the inmates. Now, disclaimer, I treat them all like people on the street. You know, strangers on the street, whatever crime they did, they already incarcerated for it. You know what I mean? I'm not there to condemn them even more. So I'm talking to this young lady, and I heard a lot of stories today, but this one in particular stands out because this girl is so young. She's only 24, y'all. The girl told me like, she ended up in jail because she was addicted to meth. And one day she ended up tweaking out, thinking people was trying to kill her. And she ran around the town, butt naked and stuff, like trying to get away from these people that's trying to kill her. And in the midst of it, she ended up putting her hands on family members, like beating up her parents and stuff like that. So fast forward, we just chatting it up. And she's talking to me and I'm listening because I like the tea. Anyhow, the girl get to telling me about a specific officer. Now here's where the tea come in at, right? So in restrictive housing, there's two sides. Some prisons have more. My particular prison has two sides, A side and a B side. It's usually one officer on A side, one officer on B side, one officer that's in this little box called the picket, and he controls the doors. But on this particular night, the girl said it was only one officer on the floor running two sides, both A and B side, and it was one officer in the little box in the picket. So now, this girl and this officer made up this whole crazy plan to kill a spider in her cell. Now, how the cells are set up is the bunk is lifted off the ground. So, like, you have to climb up a little ladder to get onto the bunk. It's like a bunk bed with no bottom, if y'all can imagine that. So, their plan was her to be sitting on the bunk while he's trying to kill a spider, right? Now, imagine while she's sitting on the bunk, he's tall enough for it to be face to cooch to crotch. See what I'm saying? That was their plan. So while she's sitting down on the bunk, he's gonna be standing up munch. Y'all get it? So she said, as she started taking off her trousers, okay, as she started dropping them drawers, she said the officer that was in the picket came out of the picket and was like, what is going on in here? I don't see no spider, blah, 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 and pulled the dude out. Now, what gets me is this officer had a whole wife and kids at home. That's crazy to me. But it's not the first time. It happens all of the time. These officers get up in here and they sleep with each other and they sleep with these inmates. And it's crazy. It's crazy. So I was telling the girl, I was like, you know, tell me his name. Tell me his name. Like, what officer is it? What officer is it? She was like, girl, I'm not going to tell you his name because I don't want to mess up the chance of getting my box ate. Excuse me? And it's so crazy because the hygiene in the prisons are not great at all. They're not even good. And you want to munch and crunch on something and then go back home to your wife? I'm baffled. And then, like, you don't even really, you don't know these inmates. This girl was addicted to meth. Who knows whatever else, what all she was doing? Who knows? I don't know. I just thought to share that with y'all because it was some tea for me. So I decided to give y'all a little tea. Let me know if y'all want to keep hearing more prison stories. I got a few of them. A few good ones. A few good ones I think y'all might like.
Attempted murder on my mom's husband's mistress. So let's talk about how I was 16 years old and charged with premeditated attempted murder. So first, I'm just going to break everything down, like the details, and then if y'all still want to hear my story, we can continue with that on the next clip. But basically, I was 16 and I went to jail, and then I was 17 when I went to prison. I had got 16 years, which is 200 months in DOC, and after like a year and a half of being in prison, I was able to drop my time and only have to do 7 years, which was really a blessing from God because without him, it would have never happened. So my main charge is premeditated attempted murder following like aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, armed burglary with a deadly weapon, but that's my main charge that everyone sees and talks about. So basically, I had got attempted murder on my mom's husband's mistress. I know it sounds crazy, but like a Lifetime story, I hear that a lot too. But yeah, my mom's husband's mistress. So yeah, my mom's husband was cheating on her with his mistress, and they used to have like drug binges, and my mom was not with that. So usually he would go off and cheat and come back, but this time he did not come back, and it literally drove my mom insane, and to the point to where she wanted this lady to die. And she tried to get some of my friends to do it, my boyfriend to do it, and it just wasn't going as her plan. So me being her child, her best friend, someone that was willing to do anything for her, she wanted me to kill this lady. And basically what happened was I attacked her with a machete, and everything just went left after that. So if you want to hear my story and how everything happened and how I came out of it, leave a like, comment, share it, whatever, but just let me know.
Story time on how I was pregnant, federally indicted, my 5-year-old son got shot, and I ended up in prison all in 1 year. Now, I know I was supposed to drop this story time yesterday, but life get to life, and sometimes when I get overwhelmed and I gotta reset. So yesterday I had to reset. So in order for y'all to really understand why everything played out the way it did, I'm gonna have to give y'all a little backstory, right? So it all started when I was about 23 years old, right? I was the mother to just 2 of my kids at the time, my boys. And my oldest son's dad was in prison, and my youngest son's dad was in prison, right? So it was just me and my 2 kids, and my mother was my only support system, but my mother battled addiction, so it was only so much support she could give me, right? So when times got harder, wasn't nothing I wouldn't do to make sure that my kids had what they needed. So if I had to go in stores and steal what they needed, that's what I did. I went in stores and I would steal what they needed. Obviously, I wasn't too good at it because I ended up with a theft charge, and I had to go to court, and I ended up pleading out to it, and now it's on my record. So now I have 2 kids and a theft charge on my record, and I'm applying for jobs, and I'm trying to get my life together, right? And I can't tell y'all how many job interviews I went to, how many orientations I went to. They would hire me, and then they would fire me as soon as my background check came back. And I am an only child, y'all, and I have that only child syndrome people talk about, where you feel like everything's supposed to go your way, right? So as I'm going to these jobs interviews and I'm getting denied and I'm getting fired, it start messing with me mentally. So y'all, while I'm already battling, trying to figure out my financial situation for me and my children, I get a call that my baby daddy is in prison. He is swollen up with fluids. His heart is failing. So y'all, when I get that call, I'm just like, God, what are you trying to do to me? Like, it's only so much I can take, right? So a couple weeks passed, maybe 2 weeks after I got that call, and then I got another call. And that next call was my son's family letting me know that my baby daddy was found deceased in his cell. He swelled up with fluids, and he choked on his own fluid pretty much. Y'all, that sent me, because I'm just like, not only am I struggling, I got 2 kids, but now one of my possible support system that could come home and do right is gone. It's gone. So now I'm really a single mother for real. When I say I went through such a dark moment, like I got so depressed, y'all, I can't even lie to y'all. I didn't want to be here anymore. And I remember like yesterday, I was sitting in my car like I am now, and I was just staring off into space, and I told myself, I cannot create a solid foundation for my kids. I cannot even raise them. I can't make them happy because I'm not happy. I just feel like I'm better off if I'm not here. So I drove down to the store, bought me some ibuprofen PMs or Tylenol PMs, whatever they call, and I took the whole bottle. And all I remember is waking up to the fire department breaking my door down and taking me to the hospital. That's all I remember, is waking up and the fire department is breaking my door down. They put me in a mental institute for 72 hours, y'all. And in those 72 hours, I told myself, I don't care what I have to do. When I get out of here, I got to get some money for my kids. So I had this homeboy, y'all. He was an old head. He was from up north, and I knew he was getting money because whenever I needed anything, if I needed a ride, if I needed anything that he could help me with, he would help me. And it was this one time we was sitting on my porch after I got out the hospital, and we was just talking, and I was venting, and I told him, I got to get me some money. So my homeboy told me, come up with $150 and call me. I'm going to show you something. And y'all, that was like music to my ears. Do you hear me? I'm like, I know this nigga getting money. He about to show me. You hear me? So y'all, long story short, I got the 150. I caught my homeboy and he pulled up on me with that thing. And I'm gonna say that thing because I don't want TikTok betting me. And I don't want the people on here doing the most. But anyways, y'all, he put up on me with that thing. He backed it up for me. He told me what to do, how to do, and when to do it. You hear me? And baby, it was on like Donkey Kong from there. I'm talking about, I sat on my porch, because at this time I'm living in a project. So I sat on my porch, passed out some samples, and my shit got the rocking. Y'all, so at this point, everything. The money going, pockets fat, kids great, got a car, we living good, everything. But I'm still in the projects, right? So y'all, when I say my shit was rocking, I mean my shit was rocking. Like my door was like the bando was like this all day long, all night long. It got to the point where I had to beg the Jays to just chill. Let me get 30 minutes of sleep and we good, right? So just imagine one apartment out of 100 and there's so much traffic going to that motherfucker. It gets the attention of the authorities in the office, right? So I get woke up to bangs on my door one morning. And y'all, I'm thinking it's the peoples. They want their little fix, you know what I'm saying? So y'all, I go to the door and it's the police and it's the office and they are handing me a piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, they're telling me that I'm being evicted due to too much traffic. So now I'm just like, golly, like if it ain't one thing, it's another. But in my mind, I'm like, that was your goal, to get you some money to give you and your kids a better living. So you got the money, go get you a house. And that is when I got my first house. So now I got the house, I got the cars, I got the money, I got an extra room. So I moved my mama in. I call my mama and I tell my mama, I got us a house, come on home. And she come on home. So now I'm feeling like that bitch. Do you hear me? I got the nice big house, my first house. I got the nice car. I done brought my mama to the crib. She good. She don't got to worry about nothing. The kids good. I bought my mama a car. Like, I'm feeling like I'm doing my big one. You hear me? And everything was great. Until one day I'm at the mall. Me and my homegirl. It's Halloween at this time. We're getting ready for a Halloween party. Right? So after I leave the mall, I go home so I can shower and get dressed and get ready for this party, right? And as I'm pulling up at home, I realize that my door is wide open. And when I walk in, my house is very disoriented. Like, it's a mess, as if kids have been running around here unsupervised, right? So at the time, my youngest son, he was about 2 or 3. And I asked them where their nana is. Where is your nana? Because she's supposed to be watching y'all. And y'all, I was not prepared for what I was about to see. But as I walk further into my house, I see my mom's feet hanging from under my kitchen table. And she's laying under my kitchen table and she is unresponsive. And y'all, like, and y'all just gonna have to come back for part 2 if y'all want the rest of the story, because I need a reset. But if I was y'all, I would come back, because this shit gets crazy. Story time on how I was pregnant, federally indicted, my 5-year-old son got shot, and I ended up in prison all in 1 year. So when I walk in the house and I see that my mom is unresponsive, I immediately start trying to wake her up. I check her pulse and I started conducting CPR. Then is when my mama woke up and she told me she don't know what's going on, but she cannot move. Then is when my friend and I tried to attempt to pick her up, but at this point she was dead weight. So we contacted the ambulance, and the ambulance had to come and assist us with getting her up. So they take her to the hospital, and I hop in my car and I follow behind them. And when we get to the hospital, the doctor pretty much tells us that, you know, they've never seen nothing like this before, but she was pretty much deceased. Like her body was in a state of somebody that was deceased. Her body temperature had dropped, her blood pressure was low, her nervous system was shutting down, but she was fully awake and communicating. Then is when I found out how serious my mother's addiction had gotten, right? And I'm a firm believer that God will take you through something to show you something. And that's what I explained to my mother at that time. And she agreed that, you know, she was ready to get this life behind her. She was ready to get herself together. Until one night. So it was this one night that me and my homegirl, we went to the club. We was out partying all night. Like, I stayed at her house because we was out all night, right? So it wasn't until that next morning that I decided to go home. And when I pulled up at my house, my door is kicked wide open. Again, y'all. So I go in my house. I immediately go to my stash. And I realize all my money is gone. And I had a nice house. I had a big house. And it was a finished basement downstairs. And that's where I let my mama stay. Because it had a bedroom, a living room, and a bathroom. So she could have her own area. And that's where she was, watching my kids all night. Y'all, my mama told me she didn't hear anything. She didn't know anything was occurring. She just woke up. So I wanted to get police involved, but y'all, at this time, I'm in the streets. I don't got time to be messing with the boys. So I know I don't have cameras on my house, but I know my neighbors across the street do. So I go across the street to holler at my neighbors. And y'all will not believe who was on that camera kicking my door in. Y'all guessed it right. My mama. It was my mama. My mama had set this whole thing up to look like somebody had broken my house and took out my money. And I didn't look at these cameras or even get these camera footage until 2-3 days later when she wasn't around me. And y'all know I was so heartbroken because it was just like, dang, this is my mama. But then again, I have to remind myself, this isn't my mama. This is a monkey on her back that she's battling with. So I have to be considerate of that too. So at this point, I give my mama an ultimatum. It's either me or the streets, me or the drugs. And she chose herself. She chose herself, and I was proud of that because choosing herself, she decided to go to rehab. So me and a friend of hers found her a really nice rehab to attend. We get her signed up, and we get her, you know, into the program. So once I get my mama settled, I'm thinking about this loss I just took, and I'm telling myself, I gotta get me some more money for my kids. So y'all, one day I go to the utility board to pay my light bill, and as I'm walking into the utility board, this car pulled up to me and stopped me, and it was this guy. And y'all, I ain't the type of woman to think just because a nigga barking at you that you gotta bite. So y'all know what I did? I kept walking. So as I'm walking, I keep hearing this nigga barking, but I'm hearing his accent too, and it rings a bell. This nigga from up north. And knowing the situation I'm in and what I got to do, yeah, let me turn around and politic with this nigga because I'm pretty sure he got what I need. So, y'all, I turn my little self around. I walk up to his car. Me and this nigga get to talking. He asked me what I'm in here doing. I told him I'm here paying my bill. And he asked me how much my bill was. I told him some outrageous prices that wasn't even the price. Like, I mean, duh. Why wouldn't I? And he dropped his glove department to get that money. And all I seen was bricks of money, y'all. And all I heard in my ear was ding, 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 ding. Bitch, you scored. So me and this man exchange numbers. And we get to talking. We get to kicking it. And everything going smooth. So me and this nigga, we kicking it. We vibing. Nothing too serious. But y'all know when y'all get the vibing and the chemistry is there, y'all know what that leads to. So 2 or 3 months passed, and you know, we locked in. Like, what we got going on is solidified. Like, I'm staying at his house or he's staying at my house, but we're together every day. So we decided to get us a crib together. I know, moving in with somebody after 2 or 3 months is crazy, but y'all, I was young and dumb. So y'all, me and this man found us a house together, and we move in together, and everything is going great. I'm talking about, I'm up dog shit. I got more money than I have ever had in my life. So then is when I had to take a step back and reflect. Like, I got in that game with the motive, with the objective. I had to go, and I've accomplished that goal. I got me and my kids out the projects. My pocket's good. I'm up dog shit. I got me a good nigga. He's up. The kid's good. Everything is everything. It's time for me to get out the game. So y'all, I did exactly that. I got out the game. Like, I was done. I was no longer in the streets. I was no longer out here committing a crime. So a couple months passed, and I'm chilling, but now that I'm out the game, I told my man that I wanted to invest. Like, it's time to make some legitimate investments. So we sit down and talk, and we decide to go up north where he from and purchase a home and start flipping houses, because up north you can get the house cheaper, remodel it, and flip it. So that's exactly what we did. We went up north and we purchased us a house, and we up there, we meet the people that do the roof, we meet the people that do the windows, and we get in this house remodeled. And y'all, I'm feeling like on a cloud. Like, I'm feeling so accomplished. I'm feeling like, I'm really making a positive turnaround with something that I was doing that was such a negative thing. Like, I'm feeling real good. But y'all know when y'all get the feeling too good and it feels too good to be true, likely it's too fucking good to be true. So one day, me and my dude, we ride around the city or whatever, and he gets a call. And y'all, his phone is up to his ear, but he got his volume up so loud I can hear what's being said on the other end. And the caller is one of the people that he does business with. And all I heard on the end of that call is that somebody has died. And y'all just gonna have to come back for part 3 if y'all want to know the rest of the story.
It started out real simple. Just a mama trying to find a way. But see, that one theft charge, one slip up born out of pure, how am I going to feed my babies desperation, it basically slammed the door on the whole legitimate world. And that's the part people love to gloss over. We're out here telling folks, just go get a job. But the system makes it a whole obstacle course once you got a record. She's going to interview after interview, getting hired, then getting let go soon as that background check hits, over and over. After a while, what do you expect the person to do? Now, I ain't making excuses for the choices she made, but I'm definitely understanding them. There's a big difference. And then, child, the loneliness. She's an only child. Both her baby's fathers are behind bars, and the one person she's supposed to lean on, her own mama, is out here battling a demon. So she's standing on an island all by herself with 2 kids and no rope to pull her in. That kind of isolation, it'll break you in ways you can't even put into words if you haven't lived it. And it did break her. She got to a point where she truly didn't want to be on this earth no more. But what's really deep is this. After surviving all that, after being in a mental facility for 72 hours, she walks out and her first thought wasn't, how do I heal? It was, I still got to figure out how to feed my kids. That's what poverty does to your mind. You don't get the luxury of processing trauma when your children's stomachs are growling. Then you look at the situation with her mother. You could feel the love she had for that woman. She got the house, moved her mama in, bought her a car, fixed up the basement. She was trying to be the hero. And how did her mama pay her back? Staged a fake break-in and stole her money. But listen to how she talked about it even after that betrayal. She didn't drag her mama's name through the mud. She said, "This isn't my mama. This is the monkey on her back." That kind of grace? You only get that from growing up in it, from understanding addiction down in your bones. But it's painful too, because it shows you that you can love somebody with everything in you and still not be able to save them from themselves. She gave her mama an ultimatum, and her mama chose rehab, which sounds like a win, but you could hear it in her voice. The trust was already cracked. And then there's the pattern with the men. She meets this guy at the utility board, sees those bricks of cash in the glove box, and ding, 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 goes off in her head. Now, I ain't judging her. From where she was sitting, that man looked like security. He looked like, I don't have to worry no more. But the thing is, every time she found a little stability, it was built on sand. The house, the cars, the lifestyle, it was all a house of cards. And she knew it. She wanted out. She wanted to invest, flip houses, go legit. She was trying to build a bridge to the other side. But the game, it don't always let you walk away clean. That phone call at the end of part 2 where someone died, you can just feel the walls closing in on her. What really gets me is that she had the mind of a CEO the whole time. Think about it. She took $150 and built a whole clientele. She scaled that business up. She got the property and tried to pivot into real estate. The hustle and the vision were always there. It was her starting point that was crooked, not her mind. That's the real tragedy. In a different zip code, with a different set of cards, that same energy builds an empire. But she played the hand she was dealt the only way she knew how. The whole story is just a lesson in how one bad break leads to another when you ain't got no safety net. It makes bad decisions feel like the only decisions. It doesn't end with a neat little bow because real life is messy. We already know it gets worse. The indictment, her son getting shot, prison. But the fact that she's sitting in her car telling this story, it means she survived it. And that, all by itself, says everything you need to know.